Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. My name is Hailey Rowe. I'm a sales and marketing coach and strategist for health coaches, life coaches, and wellness professionals who want to become a leader in their field by building their online community, rocking their sales process, and finally feeling confident about how they promote themselves and their marketing. On this show, we talk about tips to grow your business, save yourself time, and finally be able to create a sustainable, profitable business. Let's get into it. Today's podcast is brought to you by the Zero to Hero Coach Program. This is my 4-month program teaching coaches and online service providers how to grow your online business, book clients consistently, overcome your sales fears, and finally rock your social media visibility. If you struggle to create a sustainable coaching business, this program is for you. Check out HaileyRowe.com and book your free strategy call with my team or myself today. Thank you.
What is good, my people? We are here today, and I'm really excited because we're really talking about what are some tricks and some tools and some strategies that you can learn in order to really be successful as a coach. You know, all coaching starts with understanding what your niche is. So how could you ever be successful understanding what your niche is if you don't know what your niche is? Make sense? So that is what we're going to be talking about today. So what's good, Ja? Coach Mecca, what's good? Coach K, what's happening? Is the bell home? Hami, Bell home? What's good? Good to see you. So if you're excited to understand how to learn about niches and what your niche should be, go ahead and put excited in the chat below. And let's talk about it. I got a special guest on, and I actually should have put with our special guest. We got a special guest that I'm gonna bring on today. Her name is let me write it in the chat. Her name is Coach Hailey, with special guest Coach Hailey, right? With special guest Coach Hailey. All right, boom. All right, so I'm excited about that. Let me know where y'all from too, by the way, guys. Let me know where you from. Where are y'all from? For those who don't know, if you've been following me or if you just started following me. So I'm in New York City, and just making things happen. I was in Virginia for a little while. So I originally started off in New York City. And by the way, put where you from. I originally started off in New York City, ended up going to Virginia for college. And so I graduated with my bachelor's degree in engineering and my master's degree in project management. By the way, if you notice, I'm huge on productivity. There was a point in time where before I jumped into working with coaches and speakers, I was actually doing more life coaching. And I was doing more of a more productivity coaching. This is how, if you've been rocking with me for a minute, you know that that's how I came out with this book, The Productive Lifestyle Planner. So The Productive Lifestyle Planner is a book that I use to stay productive, and it's how I generated over 6 figures doing this industry, is being able to know exactly what to focus on and what to do each and every day. And what's so funny is it all started with, so that is really what we're going to be talking about today. What are some tricks in order to discover what your niche is? And we got Coach Hailey in the building. What's up, Hailey?
Hi.
Hey, how you feel?
I feel very excited to talk about this very important topic.
Yes, this topic is very, very huge, and it's a starting block, right? It's a starting block for, you wanting to be a great coach and a successful coach, right?
Absolutely.
So you got to know your niche. So I'm super excited with this. If y'all excited too, go ahead and put excited in the comments. And let's dive right in. Let's talk about it, because I know y'all have some. I get questions on this every day. So Hailey, you want to kind of just kick it off and just kind of let folks know like who you are and just give a little bit of background before we dive in?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
So I love working with coaches on how to get your messaging, your marketing, your stand-up offer,
and feel confident doing marketing and sales. I think a lot of coaches avoid that part. They're like, I love coaching, but they want to hide on, they don't want to be on video. They don't want to get specific on a niche because they're afraid of weaving out people they know that can help, and yada yada. So I really love helping them transform into entrepreneurs in addition to coaching, because I think that it's so important to be able to share your message and work with clients. And if you are not doing marketing and sales, you're just going to continue to have this as a hobby and probably quit eventually, because you got to work to support yourself and do other things, and you don't have enough time to coach. So that is really my mission, is to help coaches create a profitable business and feel confident with that. And one of the first steps is what we're talking about today, which is getting clear on who do you want to support and who do you want to market to.
Love it, love it, love it. So what is the short version? And I kind of share my short version. How did you discover, when you first became a coach, discover what kind of niche you wanted to jump into? Because I think a lot of folks are in a place where, and put that to me in the comments if this is you, where you have a few, you like, well, I can help everybody. Mm-hmm. Or you have a few different niches in mind, like, okay, I'm great at this, so I can help people with this. And it's hard for you to choose because you're great in a few different areas. So put that to me in the comments if it is you. But how did you discover what your niche was initially, Hailey?
So I originally noticed a trend, meaning I noticed that people were reaching out to me. So I worked in business development and marketing for a lot of wellness startups and in like personal development space. And I love that industry. I love wellness. I love setting goals and stuff. So when I left one of my jobs that was in business development and marketing and was trying to go off on my own, a lot of the people that naturally were asking me questions about marketing based on what I had been doing with my work were health coaches, maybe a couple life coaches, things like that. Actually, the life coaches and other coaches came later. So I think it's important to realize you're not married to a niche forever. I started very specifically with health coaches only. I only branded to them. And then as time went on a little bit, a couple life coaches were like, hey, could you, do you coach me too? Relationship coaches, other stuff came into the picture. But I was very focused with just health coaches. And that's kind of how it started for me. But you also have to ask yourself, who's thirsty for the kind of outcomes I know I can provide in my coaching. Because if you're picking just somebody who, if it doesn't match the outcomes that they want and then the audience that you're picking for it, then it's going to be really hard to get clients.
Love it. Absolutely. So those are some great strategies for me. I went through a couple phases of niches because I wasn't sure initially. So when I first started, before you jumped on, I was letting everybody know that, I went to college and everything, and I graduated. And so graduated my bachelor's and master's degree. I was great. I was making great money after graduation. I was making 6 figures in corporate America. And I realized not even so much about the money. It was more about helping students graduate and get into their career field, because we spend a lot of money on college for those who went to college. And if you've been to college, but that's me, right? So one of the things I said, I can help. I've been through the process. I know how to get a job afterwards. So why not just show students how to do that? So that was my first niche.
Nice.
And so I struggled for a few years because I didn't have a coach. I didn't understand, I kind of knew about it, but I just thought I can be the free king and just try to do everything free. Mm-hmm. So I went from that to, okay, that's hard to figure out. So then I changed my niche again. I went into personal development, went into productivity, changed it again, went into business, but I was helping all businesses generally, right? So I had like daycare centers I was working with, I had restaurants I was working with, I had all types of online real estate, everybody.
Yeah.
And so mind you, this is the third time now. It's the third time I changed my niche, and then I changed it again, which I really honed in, I really niched down, and I went and I wanted to help influencers, specifically people who wanted to be in the coaching field, or had some kind of message to serve people with, right? And 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 just a big takeaway from that is, the earlier, had I known this is what I wanted to do, 6-7 years ago when I first started, I would be way further, right? But it took me a few years to try to discover what my niche was. And then boom, as soon as I discovered it, we went from, 0 to 6 figures. And, just over the last year, we've impacted over 1.2 million people seen my videos and training over the last year. And, we got courses and all kind of fun stuff. So
well, you have a really good point, which is you had to have trial and error and test things and try things and fail and be okay with that and just keep adapting. And I think a lot of people put off choosing a niche or just dwell in indecision with that because they're like, what if I pick the wrong thing? You really just need to start. You're going to find it.
Right. You're right.
And it's not like you're going to be, especially when your business is really small and you don't have a ton of followers and stuff to begin with, that's the best time to be testing things and not worrying about like, well, if you change your next niche next month, everybody's going to, think crazy and think whatever. Like, no, very small audience and it's okay.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, all right. So let's jump into some practical strategies, some practical tips for folks who are really trying to figure out, what their niche what their niche is. So if you know anybody, all of us on here, if you know anybody who needs to see this, any kind of coaches, speakers, trainers, they do live events, they do courses, they're authors, and they're trying to figure out what their niche is, go ahead and hit that little airplane button below and share it with them right now. If you're part of any of the Instagram groups, go ahead and hit that little airplane button below and share this to the group, because this is content that we're sharing right now is literally similar content that we share inside of our actual paid programs. But we're showing y'all some love today. So if somebody needs to hear this, go ahead and share it. Hit that little airplane button at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. All right, Hailey, so what we got? What's some tips for some folks who are really in the space where they don't know what their niche is and they're trying to discover it?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing is ask yourself, do I want to make this easier on myself or hard on myself? Because the criteria for choosing a niche that makes your life easier as a coach when it comes to getting business is you want to ask yourself, is my niche easy to find, whether that's locally or online? So in other words, a niche that's hard to find would be like teenagers, because it's so broad and you have to look at their picture to know, and it doesn't say their age on their profile, and there's not, Facebook groups that are just, I guess there are Facebook groups for teenagers, but right. It's hard. So is it easy to find? Like, so if you said lawyers, all of a sudden it becomes a much better niche because there's lawyer support groups, lawyer networking groups, lawyer magazines, all the things. The second thing is can they afford my services? Or is this going to be really hard to convert? And do they have a need or problem or pain point that's painful enough for them that they are looking for support? Right. And then is it something that I feel I can tweak I can have my messaging centered around? Right. So, and in a good thing to know for everybody who's really stressed out about having to choose a niche, so you can have some niches behind the scenes. Your main marketing on your Instagram and stuff might be towards one niche, but you can have other landing pages or other email campaigns or other things that you're doing. Eventually, I would say hold off on that to focus on succeeding first with the niche you've chosen.
Right.
Succeeded and mastered something, you can duplicate it for another niche. So you don't need to stress about like, I'm just going to be torn. I'm just going to be attacked.
Right.
So those are my first thing is just, make sure you're considering those criteria when choosing your niche. Now, the second part is though, what kind of goals or outcomes can you provide to your ideal client niche? And the way I would suggest you come up with this is to first I know coaches get all freaked out because they're like, well, I can't promise an outcome. The client has to do the work too. And I just want you to play around and do a brainstorm as if like they were the perfect client. They were like go-getters. They figured things out and etc. And just brainstorm outcomes you love that just sound outrageous but seem amazing that you'd love to provide. And then we can work backwards and say, okay, what's actually achievable and all that stuff. But just like ridiculous outcomes you'd love to provide that you feel there's a need in the market for, And then we could start to say, okay, what niche needs that? And, you know, how are you structuring your elevator pitch and what's actually achievable that you want to market and all that stuff. But to give you an example, rather than saying work-life balance, you would write down something like how to get back 4 hours a week, every week in the next 90 days, or how to, I don't know, like what would be, give me an example. You have a lot of good offers. I've seen it.
Yeah. So, I mean, instead of making it generic, you know, you can say, you know, how to make, if you're in, let's say, I get a lot of people who are focused on like getting people confidence back in their life because of trauma, right? So, you know, instead of like how to overcome trauma, you might say, you know, how to get your confidence back to get into the relationship, you know, you always wanted to be in, right? So it's really, and I think you brought up a good point. It's really being specific. It's really thinking about the specificity of the topics you want to help people in. And when you think about, okay, these are the areas that I want to help people in and I want to play in, you can actually start there and kind of look back and say, okay, well, I want to help all the people in this kind of area. Maybe this should be my niche. Yeah. Right. And when you think about it, and most people thinking about niche in terms of, you know, one or the other there's really, when we say niche, we're really referring to two things. We're really referring to topic and or audience, right? And I was just mentioning this to some of my PCS members the other day, that when you're selecting a niche, I want you to be specific in one area or the other. So don't be broad in your topic and be broad in your audience, right? You want to be specific in one. You want to say, okay, well, if I'm going to just do business, okay, business is my topic, but who is my audience going to be? I'm not going to just do all entrepreneurs or all business owners. What I said was, all right, I'm going to do business and I'm going to work with coaches. I'm going to do business and I'm going to work with dentists. I'm going to do business, right? Or you're going to go specific in your topic, right? So instead of just saying personal development, right? You're gonna focus on productivity, time management, confidence, right? Whatever your area. Instead of just health, we got nutrition. Are you helping people with fitness? Are you helping people lose weight, gain muscle? Are you helping bodybuilders? You feel what I'm saying? So when you're more specific in who you want to help, then the people that you're speaking to are going to be more drawn to you.
Yeah, right? And you have both specific. That would be killer for one offer yours, you know. And the other thing, I think you brought up a really, really good point. Now I forgot it. It was, okay. So the niche itself, if you could go to a grocery store and find your niche, like be able to spot them in the room, you know, you're on the right track. But if it's like everybody, if you're being so general and you're like, that guy could be that girl, then it's like, you are going to feel so discombobulated when it comes to your marketing and overwhelmed at all the things all the groups you could be in, all the podcasts you could be on, all the things. And it almost is a favor to yourself too, to get really specific with your niche, because it keeps you focused on who you need to get in front of. So the other way to be specific about your niche is not just their job title or maybe like a struggle they have, but also like things they'd identify with. Like, would they call themselves a perfectionist? Would they identify as somebody who's addicted to food, like really out of control around food, or things like that? Like, so those are some of the things too, if you can't come up with like, I can't come up with a job title for them or whatever, then you could go that route and look into like, what are their characteristics they would totally identify with.
Oh, I love it. I love it. If you're feeling this and you're getting value, go ahead and put value in the comments below. And for our folks who joined on after we've already started a little late, go ahead and click the little airplane button below, because we're going to rock out for maybe another 12 minutes if you have questions. So make sure that you share this below. We give y'all free game. This is years of experience, right? Like, if y'all want to make y'all first $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, it's going to start with just getting clear from the beginning, which is your niche. Okay, it starts there, and then everything else builds the clientele and everything else, the content you put out on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Clubhouse, all of that builds up from this initial point of identifying what your niche is. Okay, so that's really, really key. Let me give y'all a couple some other tips, right? So we're gonna go. So I'm gonna go more on the side of self, and I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. So you're one of the other things that you can do when it comes to your niche, and I'll mention this to some of my new members who come into the program. We I call it the 2 E's, right? Is experience and expertise. Experience and expertise. So if you have a certain kind of experience in a certain area, that might be a good niche for you to go in, right? Especially if you're passionate about it or passionate about helping other people with it. For example, I had a lady who came to me and she never been in business before. And she was like, like coach, I want to be able to help other women not go through what I went through. And I said, what did you go through? She said, I was abused sexually, mentally, emotionally. And she said, I don't want other women, to have to kind of go through that trauma. So, so what she decided to do was she wanted to help other women, right? Who've been through those kind of situations. You feel what I'm saying? So not necessarily expertise, like she's developed a skill in a certain area, but it's experience, something she's went through. Because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of women who've been through that, for example, that situation, and, they decided to take their life. They decided to, be depressed all day. They decided not to go out and help other people. But not only did she make it out of that situation to become a more confident person, more mentally healthy human being, but she also looked back and gave a helping hand and say, what other women can I help that's currently struggling with this situation?
Right.
So with that, she's that in itself is credibility, because I know a lot of us have issues with this credibility thing, right? Mm-hmm. That in itself is credibility because she's been through the experience and she can speak firsthand to help her audience.
Right.
Firsthand in the comments, if this makes sense. Firsthand. So that's the experience side of it. The other side of it is expertise. So if you have a certain amount, if you have a certain amount of either years or a certain amount of expertise in a particular area or developed a certain skill, people will pay money for that, right? People will make an investment. If you have skills in sales, or you have skills in customer service, or it don't have to be business, like you're skilled at, I don't care, time management, cleaning your home, taking care of kids, like whatever it is, if you got certain skills in a particular area, people will be willing to make an investment in that area, right? So if you have the skills or the expertise and you have the experience, those may be 2 good indicators that you can use in order to generate, order to get your coaching business pop. All right. Love it.
Absolutely. And, probably a lot of people on training have heard like, how do you tie it all together now? Okay. So I know I'm an expert at this. I know I want to talk to these people, and you've probably seen those like formulas for like your niche statement or your elevator pitch. And, I would love to hear what yours is, Terrell, because I've seen so many that are different, but one thing that I have on my website on the homepage is a free niche marketing training at HaileyRowe.com, and it kind of takes you through that. I've kind of adapted it. I can, give the updated version that I usually talk about, but do you use something like that just to help somebody tie it together temporarily? And then they can do it in a million different ways, but just to give themselves, because like the worst thing that I see this a lot where I'll be like, what do you do? What kind of coach are they? Like,
right.
Oh, I don't remember my
right.
like I don't know. So
right.
what do you say to that? How do you help your clients with that?
Yeah, so we have so I actually have a workbook, and when you first come in, we actually walk you through that. But just to give y'all the gist of this area of the workbook, we call it the XYZ framework. So basically what the XYZ framework is I help X do Y so that Z.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody put that in the chat. I help X do Y so that Z. Right. Yep. So yep. I might say I help coaches build 6-figure businesses so that they can impact the audience that they're passionate to help.
Love it.
Right. And it could be as simple as that. We don't got to overthink it, but that's something you're going to get. And Hailey's 100% right with that. Everywhere you go, your people are going to be asking you about this. You're going to be going to networking events, conferences. You're going to be just meeting people in the street. You're going to be meeting people online. And if you say, I'm passionate, I want to go full time as a coach one day. I want to change the world one day. I want to be able to make 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month doing this industry and doing coaching one day. It's all going to start from you being able to clearly identify who your audience is and be able to clearly identify and articulate how you can help them. So you got to have, like she said, that, you know, that elevator pitch down. We call it the XYZ framework, but it's the same thing. How do you introduce what you do to people so they can quickly know if you can help them or potentially help somebody that they know? Yeah,
no, very similar to that. The only thing that one tweak, if you wanted to, or if you wanted to add, is I help X do Y without, and then insert something that the reason why they're not already there. They hate doing it, like, so without, they're dreading something, and you insert that part in the last part, or something that's making them hesitant from working with you. So, but you did something really important in that statement, which you said, so that you can, and you inserted a dream outcome, why they're doing this. Because nobody, like, we all want to be productive, we all want to be healthy, but why for your niche is that so important to them? What is the like tangible experience and life they're going to have if they are able to do that thing, if they're able to be productive, if they are healthy, right? So I think you make a really good point there to tie it back to why does it even matter? What's the point of it?
Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. We got a couple minutes left. If you got major keys from this, I want you to put major keys in the comments. Put major keys, right? We giving y'all the game, right? This is years and years of experience. And I know a lot of us are just getting started a couple months ago, or, you know, even maybe a few, you know, years ago, right? Some of us are kind of just getting in the game, and Hailey and I have been doing this for definitely a long time, years and years. So we're hoping that this provide value for you. We just want to jump on here and give some great nuggets. Let's go ahead. If anybody have, April, I see you out here, major keys. I love it. So, all right, if anybody have any questions, maybe we'll take 1 or 2 questions, Hailey, and, you know, if you have any resources to give folks, we can before we jump off. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put your questions below. We'll take maybe the first 1 or 2 questions. And if any questions around niches, any question around, you know, like maybe how to discover what you're passionate about, how to discover what you should help people with. The conversation hovered around credibility. So how do you know if you're credible to teach in a particular niche? I'm giving y'all some ideas on types of questions that you can ask so you can be able to get this, because, you know, we don't go live every day, right? So this is a good opportunity for y'all to ask us questions while we're here giving away the major keys. A lot of the things we share, we only share behind closed walls and closed doors for our clients. Take Money said, thank you, major keys. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So if you have any questions, put it below. Otherwise, while we're waiting, Hailey, do you have anything that you want to either be able to share, or I know you were talking about some resources that folks who kind of want to get started coaching could potentially get some help with?
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, I have the free niche marketing training and 5-star Instagram bio checklist at haileyrowe.com. That's HAILEYROWE.com. And that will take you through how to get, you know, what should you put in your little short, tiny bio to get across your niche and your, you know, what you help people with. And then same thing with like, what's your elevator pitch statement and brainstorming that. But I also, you know, Terrell and I have some very exciting news coming up in honor of the holidays and Black Friday. So, you know, get on our email lists, both of us, either one, whoever, whatever, but you need to know about what's coming, because a lot of people refuse to do something like this because it's a really good deal.
Yes. Yes. So Hailey's being modest. Now, I'm not going to give away all the beans, but I'm going to share with y'all something there's something major. So there's something that we're doing together that is, this is unprecedented. You don't see many people doing what we're getting ready to do, and it's so special, and we wanted to release it on Black Friday. So this is going to be coming up. So if there's any time you've been paying attention, maybe this is your first time discovering me or discovering Hailey, and yes, and give some likes. If like this is going to be the time that you really want to pay close attention to what we're doing and what we're releasing over the next few weeks, because we're going to be dropping nuggets on, and we got some huge news to announce that I'm very excited. I can't wait to share it, but y'all going to have to stay tuned for that because it's not available yet. It's going to be available on Black Friday. So, in terms for me, if like she mentioned, get on like one of our email lists. I'll add you as part of my community. So I know a lot of us was asking about niches. So I actually have a whole video training that if you want to learn about niches, just go ahead and shoot me a DM and just put niche training, right? And I'll write that just so y'all have it, because I know I got a New York accent, right? So just go ahead and send me a DM that says niche training, and then I'll send you a link to a whole video where I just show you how to discover what your niche is, right? And it expands on a lot of the things that we talked about today. So if you want to know more about that, and what that also is going to do is I'm going to add you to my email and text community. So when we start releasing more information about this huge announcement that we're going to make, you'll be the first to know. And you want to be the first to know because there's going to be a lot of benefits to being first on the list. Yeah. Cool. Hailey, you got anything? I'm not seeing any questions flow in, so I'm assuming that you guys don't have any questions. We were super clear on everything that we mentioned today.
Yeah, more trainings to come, so keep an eye out. We're gonna do I think we're gonna do one on offers next, so that'll be next natural progression.
All right, love it. All right, so with that being said, really appreciate you. I'm glad you all got major values. If you're not already following me, follow me. If you're not already following Hailey, go ahead and follow Hailey, and continue to learn, continue to make steps, right? Stop looking at what everybody else is doing. Focus on you, focus on your audience, focus on the people that you want to serve, focus on the people you want to help. Focus on how you can best show up into the world and really give value. All right. So T Money's asking, can she have Hailey's info?
Yeah. And T Money, if you want to just message me and I'll send you the direct link so you can click on it. It'll be probably easier. But you can DM me if you'd like.
There you go. HaileyRowe.com. Grab it. Got you both followed. All right, love it. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody. And until next time, stay tuned. All right, and continue to save the world and be great. All right, everybody, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, Hailey. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And if you liked it and want to reserve your very own free sales audit, go to HaileyRowe.com/strategy-call to book your very own free sales audit. On the call, we'll talk more about the common concerns you get from your ideal clients, how to overcome those concerns, how to coach through objections, how to change your mindset around sales, and improve your sales process so you can be closing and converting more clients. I can't wait to connect with you, and go to HaileyRowe.com/strategy-call to take the first step. Thanks so much. Have a good day.